Hey y'all, so I want to come here and put a good word out today and want to talk to y'all about forgiveness. And I'm not even so much as talking about forgiveness when it comes to other people. Granted, it's important that if we feel hurt by someone, if we feel slighted by someone, we feel betrayed, done wrong, etc., that we forgive them because the word of the Most High says that if you do not forgive them, then you also will not be forgiven of your sins and your trespasses. So before you come to him and you ask him for forgiveness, in which we should be doing every single day, right? You need to go and forgive those who have hurt you, you feel have wronged you, have crossed you, and, done you dirty and so forth, right? And you don't even, personally, I don't think that you have to go to him in forgiveness. You can just decide to forgive in your heart. And yes, sometimes forgiving, it can be hard to do because you could say it with your mouth but not really feel it in your heart. And I've been there, and I've told the Most High, like, y'all, okay, I forgive them. I'm telling you I forgive them, and I want to forgive them. And I'm saying I forgive them, but I'm having a hard time truly forgiving them within, right? And I believe when you come to him honest and wholeheartedly like that, you just keep it real with him, he knows and he will work on you with that. And I don't think he will hold against you if you're really trying to let go, let live, and let bygones become bygones, right? And I think it's also important to acknowledge that, some people, will be like, well, I don't want to forgive. They knew what they did. Look, yes, majority of the people, when they're doing you wrong, they know what they're doing when they do it. They're not confused by it. It was intentional. They meant it. They meant to hurt you. They meant to inflict you with pain. They meant whatever, right? But nonetheless, even in your forgiveness, again, you don't have to go and verbalize it to him. You can just decide that within yourself and with the Most High. Nonetheless, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to let them back in your life. No, you forgive for your own sanity, your own sanctity, your own salvation, and because the Most High says for you to. But it doesn't mean you have to rekindle anything with them. As sometimes forgiveness is just letting go, literally, and letting live. Letting them go completely. Saying, I forgive you. I free this up off me. And no longer am I afflicted by, the things that I've gone through at your hand. Right? But this isn't even the point of the video. But I just wanted to speak on that for the simple fact that is a must and that's a given. All right? And that's something that we cannot ignore. But how much more should you forgive yourself? Because I think a lot of times, like, we'll be quick to forgive someone for hurting us and doing us wrong, right? We'll be quick to forgive someone because we want to forgive them, especially when they ask for forgiveness. Like, we genuinely want that if we care about them and we care about the connection. And think about how many times you've forgiven people for things, as you should, right? And you've forgiven them, whether it was forgiveness but without reconciliation or forgiveness with reconciliation, right? But think about how you're so quick to forgive people. But what about yourself? Why is it so hard for you to forgive yourself? And this is something that I've had a hard time with personally, recently. If you're about following, you already know what I'm talking about. I knew that the Most High forgave me for things such as something I did 15 years ago. But I wasn't aware that it still very much affected me today because I still hadn't forgiven myself. And I'm still working on that forgiveness in my heart towards me, right? But I've deserved that from me because I learned my lesson. I learned from my mistakes. And it's not going to be a repeat offense against myself or the Most High who created me in the first place, right? I forgive myself because I deserve to be free. I forgive myself because I deserve to be happy. I forgive myself because I deserve the best. Like, why would I not want that for me, right? So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't hold it over your head. Be willing to forgive yourself. Show yourself some mercy. Show yourself some love because while you're out here forgiving the world of things, but you're not forgiving yourself, you can't escape you, right? You can't run away. You could try. You're not going to get that far because you're with you wherever you go. So if you're holding some resentment within yourself, let it go. right here, right now, choose to let it go because it's weighing you down, that's hurting you. It's having you maybe act out, maybe having you emotional, whatever it is. If you have to, even in forgiving yourself, right? Because you forget, let's say somebody hurt you, right? Let's say, since I'm relating to the ladies, right? More specifically, but men too, but ladies for this aspect, say you forgive that man that hurt you, but you still have yet to forgive yourself for allowing him to hurt you. Because as they say, you hurt me once, shame on you. If you hurt me twice, shame on me. Because that means you allowed yourself to stand around and for that same infliction to be afflicted upon you the second time around, right? But you've already forgiven them, right? Why are you still holding it over yourself? Why are you not forgiving yourself for allowing yourself to be hurt? Or if you're having a hard time moving on for somebody. I remember one time, I just thought about this yesterday. One time I was having a real hard time, feeling hurt by somebody, feeling brokenhearted over a guy. And it really hurt. It really did just that. It hurt. And I talked to my friend Cove, and I talked to him about it because I always like getting the perspectives of men and, how they think and feel, so I can better comprehend and understand things from a man's point of view and so forth. And that's a huge bonus with having guy friends. But I told him my situation, and he said, Crystal, that feeling you feel is nothing but thin air. If that feeling is removed, what else are you hanging on to? And when I tell you, that blew my mind. Like, that was years ago that he said this to me, and I still just quoted it. Literally quoted, quote unquote, exactly how he said it to me. That feeling that you feel is nothing but thin air. If that feeling is removed, take it, remove it from the frame. What else are you hanging on to? And in that, it was because I was tripping off of a man and my feelings over a man who never did anything for me. Was never there for me, never really considered me, never went out his way for me, never lifted a finger of energy towards me. Like, he never really did anything for me to even be feeling so entangled with my emotions with him. And in that very moment, like, I was mind blown. My eyes opened up. I was like, wow, like, literally there was a shift in that very moment when he said what he said. Like, my mind shifted, my feelings shifted. And I literally felt so much lighter because he was absolutely right. Why have I given so much emotional energy into someone who never did nothing for me anyways? Someone who was all about themselves, never did anything for me, wasn't good to me, wasn't even so much as a friend to me, Because when you at least respect somebody as a friend, maybe not even a romantic level, but as a friend, you don't want to hurt them, right? If they're your friend and you consider yourself a good person, you don't want to hurt them, right? But hurt me nonetheless. But again, I was having all this emotional baggage from a man who never did anything for me. So that feeling that was there was literally just that. Nothing but thin air, because I couldn't even pin it to nothing. I couldn't pin it to anything. And I'm just like, mind blown, literally mind blown. And it changed everything. And I mentioned this to him several years ago. This was years and years ago, but several years ago from now, I brought that up to him. Like, we're still friends on Facebook. And I was like, you have no idea what you did for me that day. Like, you changed my life. Maybe I'll tag him to this video, just to remind him, like, you never know the words that you speak to somebody, how much healing it can do, how much breaking of chains, y'all. Like, you just don't know. I told him before, but he really doesn't know what he did for me, because I can apply that to so many things, or in future situations. If I come across a man and I find myself feeling hurt by him or whatever, well, if he didn't really do nothing for me, then it was all a figment of my imagination. Not what he tried to do to me or did to me, but me hyping him up and giving him more credit in my mind and my heart and my soul, more credit than what he deserved. And I think a lot of women do that. You give a man more credit than what they deserve. They didn't do anything to be living rent free in your head. They didn't do anything to have this emotional control of you. They didn't do anything for you. They never really even considered you. And if they did, it was bare minimum, right? It was nothing to actually be hurt by if you feel like you no longer have it. You no longer had it in the first place. So again, that feeling that you feel is nothing but thin air. So if you remove it from the equation, what else are you hanging on to? The lies, deceit, the deception, The intentional stirring of the emotions, and you're, trying to inflict pain upon you, whatever, the playboy stuff. You know how they do. Playboys, which are really just, they insecure. And because they're not confident in themselves enough as a man, they feel like they have to toy with a woman's emotion to get some type of emotional pull on her. And that's what that was, because it was games, right? If it's just games, it's not really, there's no integrity, there was no substance attached. So it was literally just that thin air, right? Man, like, still, again, to this day, it's just those words, y'all. You just have no idea the words that you speak, the impact that you can have on people. So, but again, like, what you're hanging on to, like, you forgive everybody else, but why not forgive yourself? You need to forgive yourself first and foremost. More importantly, as the word says, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And he didn't mean that half-heartedly. Just a little bit, No, he meant that a whole lot. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's not a selfish thing, because self-love is a positive and a healthy thing. But some people try to twist it, because there are people out here with self-love, but all they think about is themselves. That's a toxic form of self-love. But self-love is loving you, wanting the best for you, forgiving you even when you feel like you don't deserve it. Again, going through my own stuff. Right at the end of it, right? And I feel good today. Feels good today. I had a long night, so I'm tired and I really need a nap, and I'm about to go get one. But I just wanted to put a word out there, because I needed that forgiveness from myself. And I'm still working on some things, some kinks, and I'm trying to iron out all the kinks and all the things that are having me off kilter, things that don't have me being and exuding the best me. So I just want to encourage you in this day that what you are hanging onto inside yourself, right? You are here forgiving the whole world, but still harboring some things within yourself. And some things that you might not even be aware of. Some things that was childhood trauma maybe, or adulthood trauma. People don't talk about adulthood trauma, the things that you've done in your earlier years as an adult and that you regret now, fast forward in the future. So forgive yourself of whatever childhood trauma, even if it wasn't you, but maybe how you felt in the situation. Forgive yourself for feeling like you were nothing, because you were prized and you were precious and you were worthy in the sight of the Most High. Like, you are a gift and you are a blessing to people, even if you feel like certain people don't value you, appreciate you, respect you. Like, you are such a gift and people need your presence. You have so much value, sis. You have so much value, brother. Like, y'all have so much value. You have so much value. See that within yourself and be willing to forgive yourself and to let go and to let live. If he already forgave you, if you've already repented for whatever you've committed, whatever sins and trespasses you've committed against yourself or to the Most High, if he's already forgiven you, why have you still have yet to forgive you? As they say, let go and let God. I say let go and let Yah. Let Yahuwah work inside you and allow him to free you. You've already been freed in Christ, right? You've already been freed indeed. Your soul has been freed. So free yourself emotionally. Free yourself mentally. Love on you, because can nobody love you for you? And if you don't love yourself, how can anybody else love you? All right? Free yourself. You deserve the best. You deserve that from yourself. Thank you for listening. Take care, and Yah bless.